I'm going to teach you how to say yes with a boundary. This is video 5 in a 30-part series on the things that I have learned in the last 10 years of being behind the camera as a photographer. This series is going to cover a wide variety of topics, from finances to working with people to mindset, and some practical things that you can be doing to help grow your business. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about how to say yes with a boundary. And I think that this is a really crucial topic to discuss when you are working in a service-based industry like we are. It can be really, really easy to want to say yes to every single client question that comes our way. We want to make them happy. We want them to like us. We want them to have a good experience with us. And so oftentimes we say yes to things because we have an underlying fear of rejection is really what it comes down to. And I want to let you know that it's okay to say yes to people, but it's also okay to say yes and put up a boundary for yourself to protect your own time and to protect your own energy. So saying yes to every single client request is really setting yourself up for burnout and disappointment. And so I'm going to give you some practical tips on how you can find a balance on knowing when you can say yes, when you need to put boundaries in place, and when you need to say no. Saying yes with a boundary means that you are clear on your offer while protecting your time and your energy. So my first tip for this is to set clear policies in place. From the very beginning, you've got to decide what your policies are going to be for your services, pricing, availability, your refund policy, your terms and conditions. All of these things need to be pre-decided upfront, because the worst thing to happen is a client to come up and ask you for something and you don't know how to handle it. It actually brings a lot of stress. It causes you to spiral. You're like, what do I do? How do I handle this situation? But if you're able to pre-decide all of those things up front, then you can just rely on those policies that you have in place and you can communicate the policy. So it's so important to be transparent and honest. When a client makes a request that falls outside of those policies, be honest about what you can do and cannot do, because transparency builds trust. I'm going to give you an example in just a little bit after we kind of go through these. And you know what? If you cannot fulfill a request, offer a reasonable alternative. So this is going to show willingness to help you make sure that you're willing to help your clients while sticking to boundaries. And always, I cannot stress this enough, is to stay professional and polite. Even when you have to say no, you can do it professionally and politely. Your tone and approach can make a big difference. And I want to tell you, just because you say no to something doesn't mean somebody's going to reject you. So do not overthink that. If something is far outside of your capacity, it's okay to say no. For example, I still have people coming to me asking me to do family photos. They're asking me to do weddings, and I have to say no to those things because I just don't have the capacity for it, and I wouldn't be able to serve them well. So I know what I can say yes to, and I know what I need to say no to. Knowing those ahead of time, what you can say yes to, what you can say no to, having policies in place is really going to help you when the time comes. You won't have to panic. You're just going to rely on the policies that you've already put into place. So here's an example of where this might come into play with photography, and this might sound familiar to some of you. You have a client coming to you and they ask you if you can have a 24-hour turnaround time on the project. But your policy is that you have a 72-hour turnaround time to ensure that you are providing the best quality. Here's how you could respond to that person. You would say, hey, I understand that you want your photos within 24 hours, but my policy is a 72-hour turnaround time to make sure that I can give you the best work possible. I can, however, prioritize your time for a small rush fee. Will that work for you? So this approach shows that you can respect your policy while still providing a solution for the client, because if you let them know your policies and then you just completely ignore that, it's going to cause confusion for your client. And so you want to make sure that you stay true to those policies so they know really what they can expect from you. Make sure those policies are accessible on your website, in contracts and initial consultation. That way clients can know what to expect from you from the very beginning. Saying yes with a boundary helps you to deliver your best work, but also provide excellent customer service while maintaining your sanity. All right, in the next video, we're going to continue the talk about photography as a service-based industry and how you can love and serve your clients well.